Before that, a couple from Southampton have written 3 books detailing the challenges they faced finding support for their son, who has severe autism. Christopher Parker is now 25 and lives in his own home. He needs full-time care, which is split funded by the NHS and social services. For many people, navigating the system can be tortuous. An independent review last month described the state of social care as dire, with councils saying they're struggling with the rising cost of adult social care. Here's Simon Marks.
When Christopher Parker was just a year old, his parents learned that he had severe autism.
We spent the rest of the day crying, and the next day we spent on the internet finding out how we could learn more, and we've been like that ever since.
As Christopher grew older, it became clear that the family would need to ask for help.
Very difficult.
Very difficult. Very, tugged at you when he was struggling with challenging behaviours. That was difficult.
He would come in our bedroom after we were asleep and bite us all the way around the stomach. So we had to finish up sleeping with our anoraks on.
They began to investigate whether Christopher could attend a specialist school.
The social worker said to me, "You won't get the funding for that."
Christopher has a tendency to tear his clothes, and when Charles was invited to a meeting to discuss funding for school fees, he filled a bin bag with the clothes and took it with him.
I got up and I tipped it out all over the table. I said, "Well, choose something from that pile there that you'd be proud of to put your child in and send them to school in tomorrow." We got the funding for Chris, his very first school, and we've been used to battling like that.
They tried several places which didn't work out, but eventually Christopher settled at a school for autistic children in the New Forest. Was he living there, or was he living with...
Yes, he was living at the school, but he was also coming home. His curriculum was based completely on his needs.
A balance of school and home life worked well for the family, but when his school years were over, Christopher faced a change.
We actually visited or contacted over 75 homes in the south of England and beyond.
They couldn't find the right care home for Christopher, but they did achieve an alternative. Supported living.
You hold the spoon, we don't.
Christopher now has his own space near his parents' home.
Don't hold the bowl.
Yes, don't hold in the bowl, don't worry.
Carers are here to look after him 24 hours a day.
You haven't finished.
We worked very hard to get this place for him, and then the staff that have been looking after him have done their bit as well.
He deserves to live a life where he is able to do the things that he wants to do and can do with the right support. We've worked very closely with his parents to make this a reality for him and to bring him into a place where he can live with that focused 24/7 care.
All right then, my son.
This comes at a cost. Christopher's rent is just over £1,000, and the cost of his care is around £7,000. Those are weekly figures.
I would argue that it is cheaper to pay for that in the upfront than have continuous placements fail and for them to end up in settings that are not actually meeting their needs and falling back onto things like the NHS. If you're getting it right from day one, think how much money that saves in the long run.
Christopher claims housing benefit to cover his rent, and his care is split funded by social services and the NHS. But every case is different.
It can be 100% funding NHS, it can be 100% funding social services. There are people that will pay privately as well if they have the abilities to do so.
In England, about 250,000 adults are receiving some form of long-term support. Government ministers are facing calls for the system to be reformed because of the financial cost to councils, £23 billion last year.
We can't have a healthcare system that works without a adult social care system that works. It's going to be vital that we build a national consensus around the future of adult social care, how it's funded.
The government intends to publish its plans by next spring.
Doggy won't hurt you.
No, they won't.
Individuals may still have to lobby to get funding, and Charles and Tina have written 3 books which they hope might be of help.
There must be so many people out there struggling. Maybe we've got some of those answers.
Christopher can't speak for himself, but his parents have spoken for him. Tina has been a constant advocate for her son.
Yes, I have a label, but it does not define me. I am me first, a person who is living, loving, learning and growing. I am human and I matter too.
Thank you, my son.
A story that will strike a chord with many of you, I know, and our thanks to Charles, Tina and Chris, of course, for sharing it with us.